that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one.
Traveler. Okay.
All right, everyone. Today we're looking at a sovereign citizen court appearance. And get this, he actually asked for an attorney this time. That's progress, maybe? But don't be too quick to celebrate, because he's still fully committed to that sovereign citizen mindset. This guy was pulled over for driving without a license, had a homemade plate that literally just said traveler, and, of course, resisted arrest. Because really, what would a sovereign citizen case be without some unnecessary drama? Now, let's talk about his attorney. I don't know what's going on between them, but the courtroom interaction is weirdly intense. Lots of awkward, touchy-touchy moments. You'll see what I mean. Let's jump into it. Watch closely and let me know in the comments what you think about this guy and his lawyer. This one's definitely entertaining.
She and I have already discussed it on this case, and we just both want you to hear the PC, if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge. Right.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate bearing the word traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide...
Traveler. Okay.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, I'm sorry, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know, did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor. In this situation, it wasn't as if he was intentionally.
Remember, this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes,
so,
I agree.
They ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, it's really, that's, so, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond. Your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberl?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration. We have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police, so I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective.
Are you serious right now? My attorney is actually out here playing the race card. And believe it or not, that's not even the wildest thing she's doing today. I mean, yeah, she's tossing around the race angle, but beyond that, she's smothering me like it's her full-time job. I don't even know what to say. Is she my lawyer or my mom? Because the way she's hovering over me in that courtroom is just straight up bizarre. Honestly, have you ever seen a defense attorney act like that? Let me know in the comments, because I sure haven't. It's like she's trying harder to protect me than I even asked for, and not in a good way. And look, I get it. They say the cops had probable cause. But come on, how do you argue that when they told me to get out of the car, and I didn't? Newsflash, when the police say get out and they have a reason, they're going to make you get out. I had a license plate that said traveler. That should be all the context you need. I follow my own rules. That's what being a sovereign citizen is all about, at least from how I see it. But still, even if you think that's a stretch, how is Judge Fair going to side with me when I skipped court like it didn't even matter? He's not the type to hand out second chances, especially not when you act like the law doesn't apply to you. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like I just ignored the whole thing. Then my lawyer pulls the race card like it's going to magically fix everything? No way. This whole thing is a mess, and honestly, the biggest question I have isn't even about my case anymore, it's about her. What is my attorney doing? The way she's handling this, the energy, the clinginess, it's off the charts. Someone tell me this woman isn't acting like she's my mom, because that's exactly what it looks like from here. Anyway, let's dive back in. Let me know in the comments what you think about me, the case, and especially about her.
All defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by which of way I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
No, right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberlake, I'll reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy
I
today.
mean, I think the case is only 3 months old,
Yes,
so
sir.
you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young Black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over.
All right, this might be a hot take, but I've got to say, I'm honestly disappointed that Judge Flair didn't throw the book at this guy. Now, I'm not saying every sovereign citizen deserves the full law and order treatment, but come on, this dude? He literally skipped court, resisted arrest like his life depended on it, and was cruising around with a license plate that looked like it was whipped up in Microsoft Paint. In most cases, failing to appear in court can trigger extra charges or even a bench warrant under contempt laws. And resisting arrest? That's a whole separate offense that stacks on top of whatever else you've already got going on. If there was ever a case where a harsher sentence made sense, this was it. Instead, the guy basically walked away with a slap on the wrist. And personally, I think that's a huge missed opportunity to set a precedent. But let's get to the part that still has me scratching my head. The attorney. What was that all about? She was all over this guy like she was his mom, not his legal representation. It was one of the weirdest, most unprofessional things I've seen in a courtroom. I've never seen this attorney before, so maybe she's new or just really, really involved. Either way, it was bizarre. And yeah, I know this happened in Texas. Maybe things are just done a little differently down there. If you're watching from Texas, let me know if this is normal behavior, because wow, that was something else. Now, in terms of the defense, the guy barely spoke at all. His attorney did all the talking. She even played the race card, which, honestly, felt completely out of place here. I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything, but using that angle in this particular case just didn't land. This guy literally had a fake traveler license plate. That's not about race. That's about rejecting legal norms entirely. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. This whole case was entertaining, but also kind of mind-numbing. I feel like I lost brain cells just watching it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And please, drop a comment and let me know what you thought about the attorney because that's the part one just can't get over. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, everybody.